Yeah.
Om Shri Krishna Parabrahmane Namaha. God is everywhere. Why? Because He is omnipresent. It is tested by Hiranyakashipu through Prahalada. I think you might have known the story of Bhakta Prahalada. His father was Hiranyakashipu. He is a demon king. He is always hates Lord Hari. But his son Prahalada is a pure devotee of Lord Vishnu. He doesn't like, he likes. There is a quite a difference between father and son about the discussion of Lord Hari. When it comes to the final stage, Hiranyakashipu asked his son Prahalada, "Can you show your God?" He said he will be every place, in each and every part. He didn't believe it. So Hiranyakashipu asked once again, "You are telling your Hari is in everywhere? Can you show in this pillar?" He said, "Not only in the pillar, in the wall, wherever you want, He will be appearing before you." Because He is omnipresent. There is no place of Hari without residing. That is the greatness of Lord Hari. But Hiranyakashipu wanted to test his son's words and wanted to see Lord Hari indirectly, thought of breaking the pillar. As soon as he broke the pillar, God is very anxious to protect the words of his devotee Prahalada, because he said, "My God is everywhere in each and every pillar." God does not know which pillar he will be broken, he will break. So that's why he is everywhere in each and every pillar. All of a sudden, Hiranyakashipu broke a pillar. Lord Narasimha appeared before him and killed Hiranyakashipu and gave ablution or salvation to Prahalada. Why we have to remember this means God is everywhere. It is proved so many times by so many devotees. But in Kali Yuga, God is in the form of human beings. We are unable to find out. Whoever helps in the time of need, then we have to think God is in him. God may not appear in this age with wearing a crown and ornaments, etc. He will be in the human form. That is the greatness of God. All Upanishads and Vedangas strongly emphasize about the gods and His omnipresence. Because God, wherever you see, birth of the human life starts from birth to death, ends with death. So God is God. G for generation, O for organization, D for destruction. So in the three activities we can see God. Without the help of God, nothing will be happening in this world. That is to be proven by so many incidents in Puranas and Bhagavatas. Therefore, theists always believe, atheists never believe. Though he has belief, but he could not reveal it. Inner sense he knows. there is a supernatural power than the power of human. But it takes time to accept. Though it is in his inner sense, but outwardly he cannot accept it. So basing on that, today I took the topic of God is everywhere. Let us go through this analysis. Prayer. Nandishwara namastubhyam sambananda pradayaka mahadevasya sevartha manujñam datumarhasi. Sadguru Jiva Yoga Swami was a great Siddha, a master and knower of God. He would say, liberation is within you. He would order his seekers to see God in everything. You are in God, God is within you. To realize the Supreme Being within you, you must have a strong body and pure mind. He was a powerful mystic from Sri Lanka near India, perhaps the greatest to live in the 20th century. His words drove deeply into the hearts of all who heard them. God is in everyone. See him there. God is overwhelmingly present everywhere. Regard everything as a manifestation of God, and you will realize the truth for his words. Simple words for a simple truth, but very, very difficult to practice. As we go on through life, we see only parts of life. We don't see the whole. We can't see the whole. Yoga Swami said, how can a part see the whole? So, we live with a small part, our small part. We seek to avoid the painful areas and attract to us the joyous ones. Most people live in this duality life after life, bound in the forces of desire and the fulfillment of it. Occasionally, a more mature soul breaks away from the cycle of desire fulfillment, pleasure loss, pain suffering, and joy, and asks questions such as, who is God? Where is God? How can I come to know God? God has no names, but all names are the names of God. He has no particular name. In whatever the way we call, he will appear before us. That's why Gita he says, Ye yatha mam prapadyante tan sataiva bhajamyaham mama vartmanu vartante manushya partha sarvasaha. O Arjuna, whoever calls me in whatever the name, I will appear before him, because they follow my path. So God always appears before us, but we can't see with this general eyes, normal eyes. Whether you call him this or that, he remains who he is. But in our tradition, we call God by the loving name Shiva or Vishnu, which is only one of his 1008 traditional names. Supreme God Shiva is both within us and outside of us. Even desire, the joy, the pain, the sorrow, birth and death, he will be with us. This is all Shiva, nothing but Shiva. This is hard to believe for an unenlightened individual who cannot see how a good, kind and loving God could create pain and sorrow. Actually, we find that Shiva did not. Not in the sense that is commonly thought. God gave the law of karma, that is called karma siddhanta, doctrine of karma, decreeing that each energy sent into motion returns with equal force. In looking closely at this natural law, we can see that we create our own joy, our own pain, our own sorrow, and our own release from sorrow. Yet we could not know, even do this except for the power and existence of our loving Lord. It takes much meditation to find God Shiva in all things, through all things. In this striving, as in perfecting any art of science, regular daily disciplines must be faithfully adhered to. Shiva is immanent, personal Lord, and the permanent source. He is a transcendent reality. Shiva is God of love, boundless love. He loves each and every one, every creature. Each soul is created by Him through life. Lord Shiva is everywhere. There is no place where Shiva is not. He is in you, He is in this temple, He is in the tree, He is in the sky, in the clouds, even in the planets. He is the galaxies swirling in space and the space between galaxies too. He is the universe. His cosmic dance of creation, preservation, and dissolution is happening this very moment in every atom of the universe. Lord Shiva is and is in all things. He permeates all things. He is immanent with a beautiful form, a human-like form, which can actually be seen and has been seen by many people in their visions. Not an ordinary vision, super visions. Divine vision. He is also transcendent beyond time, cause and space. That is almost too much for the mind to comprehend, isn't it? Therefore, we have to meditate on these things. God Shiva is so close to us. Where does He live? In the third world. And this form He can talk and think and love and receive our prayers and guide our karma. He commands vast numbers of devas who go forth to do His will all over the world, all over the galaxy, throughout the universe. These are matters told to us by rishis, sages, ascetics. And we have discovered them in our own meditations. So, always worship this great God. Never fear Him. He is the self of yourself. He is closer than your own breath. His nature is love. And if you worship Him with deep devotion, you will know love and be loving toward others. Devotees of Lord Shiva love everyone. This is how God Shiva can be seen everywhere and in everyone. He is there as the soul of each soul. You can open your inner eye and see Him in others. See Him in the world as the world. Little by little, discipline yourself to meditate at the same time each day. Meditate, discover the silent center of yourself, then go deep within to the core of your real being. Slowly, the purity comes. slowly the awakening comes. Does this seem too difficult? Can you just contemplate what it would take to seek the all-pervasive Shiva from hour to hour throughout the day? One would have to be detached from all worldly responsibilities to a great extent in order to begin to bring this natural internal process through and into the external mind. The external mind is built up by an intellect formed from other people's knowledge and opinions. This borrowed knowledge shrouds the soul and the natural. Childlike intelligence often does not filter through. Therefore, a period of detachment and regular spiritual retreat or separation from the external world is necessary, because this is materialistic world. On a pilgrimage, we strive to seek God around us, to initiate Him in the events that happen. During worship in the temple, we strive to feel Him, to experience Him more profoundly than during our normal activities. Eventually, as our spiritual efforts progress, we bring that same attention, that same one-pointedness right into the everyday experiences that life presents to us, whether seemingly good or bad, whether he is causing pleasure or pain. This is experience of the mature soul who performs regular sadhana after taking certain oaths strong enough to the cause of detachment of the intellect from seeing the external world as the absolute reality. All seekers hope for an occasional glimpse of Shiva during the yearly pilgrimage at some venerable temple. If they develop that little glimpse, it will grow. Many have asked me whether everyone should worship Shiva both inside and out. Yes, that is the ideal according to our Shaiva Siddhanta philosophy. But which of these two comes more naturally depends on the nature of the disciple. The more introverted will meditate on Shiva within through their yogas, and the more extroverted will be inclined to worship in a temple or through music or religious service. The most awakened of seekers will do both with equal joy and ease. God Shiva is within each and every soul. He is there as the unmanifest reality, which we call Parashiva. He is there as a pure light and consciousness that pervades every atom of the universe, which we call Sat Chit Ananda, Sachidananda. We also know that He is the creator of all that exists and that He is His creation. All this we know. Yes, all this we know. Thus, we intellectually know that Shiva is within and without. This is yet to be experienced by the majority of people. The nature of the worshipper develops through sadhana and tapas performed either in this life or in the previous lives. We must worship Shiva externally until compelled as were the great rishis of yore, to sit down, to settle down, to turn within ourselves, to stop talking, to stop thinking, and thus to internalize our great energy of bhakti or devotion. This is how we evolve, how we progress along the path toward Shiva, diving deeper and deeper within. Everyone must worship Shiva externally prior to internalizing the worship fully and perfectly. We cannot internalizing that worship fully and perfectly because it is a kind of worship. Because when problems come in the family or workplace and emotion arise, it is only natural to forget Shiva. It's so much easier to be involved in two-ness rather than oneness. It takes a lot of inner strength to remember Shiva all of the time, to keep the love for Shiva flowing. We forget. We get involved in ourselves and others. It is impossible with our ego is attacked or our feelings hurt. So it's easier, much easier to forget Shiva and even regard him as a god to be feared. Whereas it is our own instructive mind and our pre-programmed non-religious intellect that should be feared. That's the demon in our house, the mischief maker who causes all the trouble. If you want to remember God, then first learn to forget yourself a little. A family provides toys for the children to make them happy. Similarly, Shiva provides karma and dharma to all of us to make us happy. He created an expanding and contracting universe and eventually absorbs all in the great dissolution of the cosmos. He gave birth to all souls. Our rishis, saints tell us, and we are evolving back into his image and likeness. They further explain that toys of experience help us in our evolution, keeping us entertained so that we can learn and grow and experience our karma, dharma and other basic communic laws, cosmic laws. Just as the children can laugh joyously as they play with their toys, or beg them and cry or throw them at one another, hitting and hurting each other, we too can avoid duty and dharma, make karma, hurt ourselves and others, or help ourselves and others as we play with our own evolution, strengthening ourselves, learning and growing wise. It is natural to forget about God, but there are many helpful ways that we can avoid distraction, that we can remember to keep seeing God Shiva everywhere. One of the practical ways to bring God Shiva into the midst of all this is to keep repeating his name. Do japa when you find yourself forgetting, when you just can't see God at all, let alone everywhere. Repeat Om Namah Shivaya. When life becomes difficult or strained, say to yourself Shiva Shiva or Om Shiva or Om Namah Shivaya. Mentally put it all at his feet. See him in everyone that you meet or confront regardless of the circumstances. He is there as their life force, but you just need to quiet the mind to see. Smile when you feel unhappy with someone and say to yourself, how nice to see you. Shiva, in this form, animals, beggars, princes, politicians, friends and enemies, holy men, saints and sages are all Shiva to the soul that loves God. He smiles and thinks to himself, how nice to see you. Shiva in this another of your many forms. Nobody can think of Shiva in his formless. This, above all, has to be realized, and then the realizer has to realize that he has realized the formless. The truth is that precious few will realize Parashiva. Through money, can and will realize Sachidananda. Even in their latter years or at the moment of death, the fullness of lives of experienced, the performance of prayer goals perfected, would lead a soul to the burning desire to accomplish. The ultimate goal for each person on the planet, the immediate pattern is clear. Once it is fulfilled, the next step appears naturally. It is the same force of desire that accomplishes all of us this. The desire of a mother to take care of her children and to be a good wife. The desire of the father to support his family. The desire of a scientist to discover, the desire of an athlete to excel, the desire of the yogi to merge in oneness with Shiva. It is the same force of desire transmitted through the chakras as they awaken. As the soul evolves, it is that same desire that finally draws the seekers to know that which is timeless and formless, that which is sparkless and causeless. So be patient. It comes in the course of time to all. It comes. It will come. Be patient. During self by self, in the earlier stages, before sadhana is undertaken, the mind is agitated by current karmas and perhaps discouraged by its inability to know or to fulfill dharma. In this agitated state, the world looks bleak and terrible, and it would be inconceivable to him for God to be any place but in the temple. Certainly, God could not reside within myself. The unenlightened concludes. In the second stage, when the mind resets or rests peacefully in the fulfillment of a life's pattern, dharma, when it has sufficient maturity to control and to dispatch past and current karmas through meditation, prayer, and penance, then indeed God is seen as a helping hand within, but most potently fell within his temple. In the third stage, the helping hand within becomes more than an and to the troubled mind. It becomes a pure consciousness itself. Rather than seeking God to outside, God is enjoyed also a vital, integral dimension of the person, the life of the life, the power and radiant energy of the universe. The calm within the greater than the outside disturbance in this stage of bliss consciousness. It is clearly seen and exuberantly experienced that God is indeed within us. The experiences, perceptions become acute, and in his daily life he becomes a witness observing the God. Others do not see God within themselves. He has a secret that he has discovered God within becomes soul, realized as truth, knowledge, bliss, means Satchidananda, the pervasive energy that glues all things together. Mind becomes serena, peace is seen to be everywhere, and the bliss so strong. A deeper inner eye opens at this stage, and it is truly perceived that this same presence of Shiva is in each and everything or every living being, permeates every atom of the universe as the great sustaining substratum of all the taxes exists. Only when this is experienced and can be truly say that God is within a man and man is within God. To know the philosophy without experience is like going on a vacation to a distant and a wonderful place by simply reading a book about the destination, hearing what others claim is to be enjoyed there. The self you cannot speak of, you can only try to think about it. If you care to, in one way, feel your mind, body and emotions and know that you are the spirit permeating through mind, which is all from body which you inhabit, and emotions which you either control or controlled by. Think on that, ponder on that, and you will be finding you are the light within your eyes. You are the feel within your fingers. Thus, we can see God everywhere. Shekantaya Kalyana Nidhe Nidhidram Shri Venkatanimasaya Srinivasaya Mangalam Mangalasasa Premadacara Purvamai Sarvesha Purvairacharya Satkritaya Stu Mangalam.